Travel news with Dave Llewellyn in the next few minutes. The weather forecast with Elizabeth Austin. Is it going to be a grand weekend? It certainly doesn't look too bad at the moment. Full detail look at that for you if you're out and about over the next couple of days. And, of course, we're looking through the papers as well. Today we do it in the company of a local lad here in the BBC Tees area. He's from Darlington. He's Simon Laverick. He's here to tell us some of his story and also talk a bit about, I would imagine, about the Olympics as well, because it seems to be, Simon, on many people's radars, as you'd expect this morning.
Morning, Neil. Yes, it was a fantastic evening, I think. I managed to stay up till about 11:45.
You did better than me.
But I've been back on this morning, a bit of revision for this, in case you ask me any questions.
It's always wise, really. Can I initially get your thoughts on I suppose, what you witnessed last night? What do you make of it?
It was a spectacle. I think it was completely different from other Olympics, from the Beijing Olympic start. But it was very British. I think it was a proud evening for us all.
Mm. And, of course, that will be played out over the next few weeks as well. Are you an avid sportsman yourself? Do you like watching it? Do you like the competitive element of what we're going to witness in the next fortnight?
I tend to watch sports that the British, the UK people are involved with, but I like to keep an idea of what's happening in the local sport, but not an avid fan, really. But you're not going to be able to avoid the Olympics, I think, over the next couple of weeks.
We got Simon in as well to obviously look through the papers, but also to hear some of his own personal story, because for you, if you want to encompass it yourself, Simon, I mean, life was what, tickling on rather nicely until 2010 in many ways, was it?
Yeah, June 2010, things changed a little bit for me. I was at the doctor's on a routine health check, and he mentioned that he noticed a little bit of a tremor in my right arm, and one thing led to another, and within a week from seeing my GP, I was in front of a consultant at the James Cook Hospital, and he diagnosed me with Parkinson's disease. As quick as that, wow, what a shock.
I can't imagine what that must be like. For people who don't know about the condition, can you maybe just in layman's terms explain it? Because if people have never been on the receiving end of it, they don't know the impact it can have on an individual and indeed a family's life.
Yeah, I can try and explain that. The problem that people have with Parkinson's disease is that they don't produce a chemical called dopamine, and the dopamine in our bodies, produced by a part of the brain, right at the back of the brain, a difficult place to get at, helps amongst other things with movement. So you will see the tremor or a lack of movement. And quite interestingly, last night Muhammad Ali was on the Olympics. Yeah. Obviously a big name that has Parkinson's, and his is obviously well advanced, and I'm nowhere near that. But the issue is with Parkinson's is we don't know how long it takes to degrade. It's different from person to person.
Simon, we're going to talk a bit about the last couple of years for you, obviously since June of 2010 in a few minutes. We'll hear more from Simon and his story. If you want to chip in, have your say about anything we're chatting about this morning, or 01642 22 5511 is the telephone number. You can do it via the text, and that is 81333, and start your text message with the word tease. It's 9:46 now. Want to get you around the region if we can for an update
on Tuesday. That's the forecast.
Neil Green,
BBC Tees.
Take a look at my girlfriend. She's the only one I got.
Supertramp and Breakfast in America. It's 9:52. This is BBC Tees 95 FM, digital radio and online. Music on the way from Emily Sondé in the next 20 minutes. Of course, part of the opening ceremony at the 2012 Olympics last night. The Searchers and Blondie will make an appearance in the studio. We're going to have a look through the papers a bit later on with Simon Laverick, who's with us in the studio today. In June, Simon was telling us just a few minutes ago, if you've just tuned in, June of 2010, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease at the age of 41. And I suppose, Simon, I suppose begin to imagine how the impact it's really had on your life in the last 2 years. Can you put that into words for us?
Well, it was interesting. Pre-diagnosis, I noticed there was a bit of a tremor, but post-diagnosis, you've got this label attached to the tremor, and that makes a big difference to know that you have Parkinson's. And you immediately think about Muhammad Ali, Michael J. Fox, and how those guys perform and the problems they're having. But for me, it's not that at all. It's a slight tremor and a little bit of movement difficulties with my right hand, but not too bad. But I'm on medication currently that replaces the dopamine that I don't naturally produce. So that's compensating really, and I'm in a pretty good place right now. I've had it for a couple of years, and I'm dealing with it. I'm coping.
But are you talking obviously about going along to the doctors, and it was just a regular checkup in many ways? Did you notice personally yourself that there was a tremor there?
Yeah, well, the doctor's visit was it was to do with work, and I get to go and see a health specialist once a year, and it was just a regular checkup, and they tell you that you eat a little bit too much and you don't exercise enough, which I knew before I went in there, and then the doctor said, "Is there anything else you want to talk to me about?" And I said, "Well, I've got this bit of a tremor, and I think it's a trapped nerve or something that's not quite right," and he looks at me and said, "We need to get this checked out." He saw something different than a trapped nerve. And he was absolutely right.
Did you know, really, at that moment, you thought, hang on a second here, or was it just a case of everybody worries when they go in the doctors, you know?
Yeah, I came out there thinking, he's overreacting a little bit. He's just wanting to cover things and make sure, and I'll get some tests done and it'll be okay. And
how quickly were you diagnosed after that?
Well, from the Monday, the GP visit, Friday, I was in front of the consultant at James Cook, and I was diagnosed there, and then it was a textbook case. And he said, "We'll do some tests, but it'll prove me right rather than prove me wrong." And we went through a few tests, and he was right.
And when those words, were uttered from your doctor's mouth,
you stop listening. Really, you can hear that he's talking, but you're not understanding a word he says.
You become removed from it.
Yeah, and I think he was trying to explain what Parkinson's was, but I have no recollection really of what he was talking about. Your mind just fills with all sorts of things.
How has your life changed? Because it's had to, hasn't it, in the last 2 years?
Yeah, well, it's changed in a couple of ways. First of all, I have to take medication every day. Not such a big deal. So the physical side of things is pretty good, really. Strangely, it's changed for the better in many ways because I'm involved with people that I wouldn't have normally got involved with. I'm seeing a different side of life. I think I'm a little bit more compassionate than I was. It really has changed me. One of the side effects of this is also depression. I don't have it, but, I used to think that when people would say that they're stressed or depressed, I would think, get a grip of yourself. But it's not that at all. And I think much differently than I did previously.
Are you able to reduce, or you're obviously talking about the medication there, the impact that has in alleviating some of the symptoms as well. Things like exercise, is that an option of helping you along the way?
I think exercise is pretty good for anyone, whether you've got this condition or not. I do have issues after exercise. I do tend to shake a little bit more. But the medication is compensating currently for the lack of dopamine that my body's producing. And the strange thing is that you don't realise you've got any symptoms until you've lost about 50 to 60% of your dopamine production.
Right.
So you've probably had it for maybe 5 years before you even know you've got it.
Your day to day, you're obviously talking about the medication is a main factor, but if you had to change your routine drastically over that time.
No, I'm purposely not changing my routine, and when I do, it'll be on my terms rather than Parkinson's terms.
Quite right. We've got loads more to talk about. I suppose the impact it's had on Jill, your wife. We'll have a look at that on BBC Tees after 10 o'clock as well. And also hear about your passion for sport and rowing as well. There's a story we need to talk about after 10 o'clock, so stick around. We'll have a chat with that. Simon Laverick is here at BBC Tees with us between now and 10:30. BBC News at 10 o'clock on the way. After this from Nat King Cole now. Dip into the papers very shortly. Simon Laverick from Darlington is telling us some of his story, and we'll find out what floats his boat in terms of the papers after Emily Sondé.
I can't buy your love. You feel my kind of love.
Emily Sondé and My Kind of Love from BBC Tees. What did you make of her performance last night as part of the Olympic opening ceremony? Enjoy it. 01642 22 5511 is my number. The text is 81333. Start your message with the word Tees. If you've just tuned our way, we're asking, was it right for the Queen to take on an acting role as part of that opening ceremony last night. 81333. Start your text message with the word tease. You can ring us this morning, or 01642 5511. We'll get to Margaret in Great Ayton, to Helen, to Donna, to Ali in Durham, to George and to Karen in the next 20 minutes. Keep them coming in. We will read them out. In the studio with me today is Simon Laverick, who's telling us some of his story and how he set up a... it's part of a charity, I suppose, in some ways, isn't it, Simon? It's called Fix Parkinson's.
Yeah, we're associated to a charity in London. Yeah. We're not big enough at the moment to be able to push money into research programmes directly, so it's got to go through a second phase, and that's the Cure Parkinson's Trust. Fantastic group of guys down there.
We're going to talk about that, of course, in a bit more detail over the next half an hour. I must ask your thoughts on the Queen taking on this acting role last night as well. Did it raise an eyebrow or two in your house?
It did. First of all, I wondered whether it was the Queen or whether it was a...
Thank you. I thought it was just me. I was just like, hang on, we got an actress there, yeah?
And it went well until the helicopter piece, and then it sort of tailed off a little bit for me. It started to get a little bit ridiculous, but the first bit I thought was very good, yeah.
OK. Karen in Darlington says she thought... 225511, and Simon, very much reflected as we'd expect in the papers today, this story, yeah?
Yeah, it is. It's all over the papers, yeah. There's an interesting article on the front of the Times. I was frantically looking for something that linked Parkinson's with the Olympics, and the only thing I could find was shaken and stirred. And it's an image on the front of the Times with James Bond and the Queen, and a couple of corgis running around with their feet.
The front pages of the papers very much reflecting it as well today. The Telegraph, they got an image of actually the rehearsals. The firework illuminate the Olympic Park as part of the rehearsal, they say, for tonight. Obviously last... This is BBC T's 95 FM, digital radio and online. Hope you're all right. Neil with you through until midday today. Lisa McCormick is here with the best of the week and some classic bits of radio for you today, including, of course, the signing of the Hitachi deal finally coming to our part of the world in Newton Aycliffe. Looking forward to hearing a bit more on that, and some great stories we've had for you. All with Lisa McCormick from 12 at BBC T's. Music on the way from Boy George, Cher and Irene Cara in the next 20 minutes. Looking through the papers today, local lad, Darlington lad, Simon Laverick is here. He's chairman of one of the local Parkinson's group. He's also the man behind Fix Parkinson's. It's a condition that, Simon, you suffer from yourself, but you determine you're one of these people who say, all right, I've got to deal with it, and, you know, I can sit back and mope about it, but the reality is I want to get out there and enjoy life, because that's what this is about.
Yeah, it's this is why we call the organisation Fix Parkinson's, because I'm not just going to deal with it. We're going to try and fix this, and what we can do, me and my colleagues and friends, we can raise money and give it to the people that can fix this problem.
So this is a group of engineers who've got together to do this.
Yeah. We've got there's about 20 of us that we do different activities, but there's 20 of us that are committed to fixing Parkinson's.
How did you broach the subject with him? Because that can't have been easy initially, was it? Was it one of those things that you obviously had to deliver the news to your colleagues, to your friends?
Yeah, that was a bit of a struggle. Work-wise, it wasn't too bad. I got them all in a conference room and just said, OK, I've got something to tell you here, guys. If I can be honest with you, you can be honest with me with work. And I just told them, I have Parkinson's disease. If anyone wants to know anything about it, come and give me a shout. If you don't, that's OK. Do
you think there's that fear? Because I suppose there's wrongly a certain stigma associated with it, and people are like, I daren't ask anything, something's happening.
There is, yeah. And the other problem with Parkinson's, everybody seems to think it's an old person's illness. Well, I'm 43 currently. It's not. It can happen to you at any age. So, yeah, the more people that know about this, the better for me.
When did you take it to that next level, or saying, right, OK, you know about it, now I want you to help me do something about it in terms of raising as much cash as we can in the next 5 years?
Well, it was June the 10th, 2010 when I was diagnosed. It was June the 10th, 2011 when I launched Fix Parkinson's, and there was a build-up to that. So it was about a year, but it only, I guess, took me maybe 2 or 3 weeks to realise that sitting about wasn't going to help, and flip this round and go and do something to fix this problem.
How's the fundraising going?
Superb. In the first year, we've raised around about £15,000. We need another knot on the end of that, though.
Yeah.
We got to keep going, keep pushing. We got to raise a lot of money.
Tell me about the English Channel And what happened? Because this was a row that you and the team organised, yeah?
Yeah, we attempted to row the channel. We wanted to cross from Dover to Calais.
Okay.
We had 16 guys, 2 boats. It was all organised. We had accompanied vehicles with us, so there wasn't just a few of us in the odd dinghy.
It was official.
It was official, yeah. And a couple of weeks before we were due to go, the French authorities said, you're not entitled to be in our waters with that type of boat. What do you say to that? So there was a temptation just to ignore that and get arrested. We thought that could be good for publicity, but we didn't. We rowed to the halfway point and back again. So we did the same distance. We were in the channel. We sort of rowed the channel.
That must have been frustrating, though, was it?
It was terribly frustrating, yeah. This guy's been doing it for years after years after year, and then it comes to...
Did he change his boat then?
No, it was exactly the same. The French authorities have said, no, this time you're not coming in.
Okay.
We were a little bit disappointed, to say the least.
Still raised the money, though. That's the main thing.
We raised £10,000 from that
Fantastic.
event.
What's the next challenge, then? Where are you taking it from now?
Well, there's a lot of the guys have got pretty fit to do the rowing of the channel, so we're going to try and keep going.
You're going to abuse that, then, yeah?
I am going to take full advantage of that, yes. We were talking about Windermere. It's about 11 miles long, so we could maybe kayak that way.
Okay.
It's 1.2 miles wide, so we can maybe swim that way, and it's 28 miles round, so we could cycle. So there's that sort of thing that we're working on at the moment.
You might be in the 2016 Olympics, the way things are going.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Sam, if people want to find out more about the work you and the team are doing, and maybe want to help or even discuss, the condition, what's the best way to contact you?
If you go to fixparkinsons.com, there's links on there. There's contact details. You can speak to me directly. You can leave emails. There's a lot of information. There's also a lot of YouTube clips of the guys training for the row, and some of them are very entertaining, to say the least.
You must be incredibly proud, I suppose, at the support you've had from your own family, of course, mum and dad, as well as your wife Jill and all your work colleagues, yeah?
Yeah, it's been tremendous, absolutely tremendous. Everyone's rose to the challenge, and it's what can we do to help?
Well, stay in touch with us. I know you've been bombarding me on social networking sites, it's not a problem. Just keep the information coming in and we'll get that out there for you, all right?
Yeah. The last thing I'd like to say is ask that if there's any local business that is willing to help or get involved, or if you... manufacture something and we can use that as part of one of the challenges.
Boats, for example.
Boats would be good, yes. Or bikes.
That are allowed in French waters, yeah.
Yeah, so, if there's anyone can help out, give us a shout and we'd love to see it. And if you want to be part of these events, come along.
Absolutely. Simon, thanks very much indeed. We'll continue to follow your story on BBC Tees, of course. Thanks very much indeed for popping in today.
Thanks, Neil.
Simon Laverick from Darlington with us here at BBC Tees. 10:27. Graham is here with a news summary shortly.